So, enough time has passed for me to say that The Predator is profitable, not just making back the $88 million that they spent on animating dreadlocks for dogs, but also the hidden cost too, the prints and advertising. But it's also clear that The Predator will not make a lot of money, certainly not enough to warrant a sequel. But saying that, the stats tell us they should never have made this film either.
And you want a faster, kind of slicker Predator that jumps and spins, and so we've tried to have a trade-off.
Let's get straight down to brass tacks. The last two films featuring Predator or Predators or whatever are financially very similar. Aliens vs Predator Requiem from 2007 cost about $40 million to make, but not to market, as did Predators from 2010. Respectively, they earned $129 and $127 million. Those figures, the earnings, are probably near double the total cost, i.e. production and prints and advertising costs, of these movies. Nothing amazing, but not bad. The worldwide box office of one of those films is probably close to the total spend of this new film, The Predator, slightly confusingly named. You don't have to be a business person to realise you need to keep the cost of your product and the cost of marketing your product lower than the expected revenue of your product. Right? But then again, look at this thing. Is any of this rational? Neither a remake nor really a reboot, but a movie that uses the title and image of a far superior film from the 80s that, although no cinema triumph, was entertaining and was very well paced. The Predator from 2018 is a shameless, stupid, and even insulting movie from Shane Black, who's perhaps best known for writing Lethal Weapon and directing Iron Man 3. But I'm not going to go on about it. If you're watching this video, you know what Predator is, and you can get, just from The Predator's trailer, why it isn't like that much-loved 80s blood romp.
Do I get a cookie now?
Nebraska, the muscle.
You just steal some money.
But the fact that this film cost so much, when previous outings indicate a steady but limited interest, mean that if this film were anything other than surprisingly fantastic, it was always going to be a bad idea. And it's not surprisingly fantastic. And at some point, the decision makers at Fox Self-Destruction Command Hollywood realised too. That's why there were reshoots. Not always a bad thing, but almost a surefire sign of real trouble when an entire act has to be reshot. Yes, in The Predator, the entire third act was redone. And you can tell. It's like three movies that have been smashed together. There's the movie with the guys on the bus. It's kind of funny for a while. There's the movie with the kid. Who wanted that? And there's the movie where it inevitably ends up, the derivative slugfest in the woods, where no matter how immortal the monster clearly is, people just stand and shoot at it, like it's a video game. They're all bad. It's really like watching half a movie, rather than three. I'm not sure how much it matters to the box office, but it doesn't feel like Predator. It doesn't feel like an unfolding game of wits and combat prowess. It feels like a generic space monster movie with the word Predator everywhere. And seriously, you can tell from the trailer, and that must have turned people off. Watching The Predator, it reminded me of Universal's attempt to resuscitate the Dark Universe with sexy mummies. That is what they did, isn't it? Yeah. In that film, the studio was attempting to use star power. Here, it's just the IP. But they had the same problem. People still like The Predator, and people still like Tom Cruise. They're both past their prime. They may or may not deliver, but they're not the box office draws that they once were. Who knows, maybe ideas should come first. Yeah, right. And the remake of, say, Robocop was really a far greater risk. It was unproven with a modern audience. Perhaps its financial success was the driving force here. But the data, the limited but okay box office from Predators, makes it clear that even with Arnie, and good on you Arnold for turning this tripe down, even with Arnie, with this script or this amalgamation of scripts or whatever the hell it is, it was never going to be good. What's frustrating is it could have done a lot better critically and probably financially if Fox had just kept their powder dry and waited for the right script and the right time. Predator is a limited IP, so for this movie to work, it needed to be good. It needed to cost way less than $100 million, and it needed to be an actual Predator film, not a film that just uses the Predator name to sell itself. And it's none of those things. What a surprise.
And you mentioned camaraderie. It's such an important theme in The Hunt, but also in the series, all throughout the series. Does it make it even more important to get the right ensemble?